While Japan reeled from the attack, President Truman made the announcement that the atomic bomb had been dropped on Hiroshima and sternly warned if the Japanese do not now accept our terms, they may expect a rain of ruin from the air, the like of which has never been seen on Earth. Two days after the attack on Hiroshima, the Soviets began to storm across the border into Manchuria on August 8th, ending all hopes the Americans had of keeping the Soviets out of the Pacific theater. But Tokyo still failed to respond to the call for an unconditional surrender, and on August 9th, Truman carried out his threat by dropping yet another bomb on Japan, this time on the city of Nagasaki. As another city crumbled into ruin, the Japanese government and the emperor realized they no longer commanded the fate of their country. Faced with further nuclear attacks, Emperor Hirohito was forced to put aside any hopes of an honorable end to the war. The unendurable must be endured, he announced, and finally at midday on August 15, 1945, Japan accepted the Potsdam Declaration and agreed to unconditional surrender. One day later, President Truman made the speech that the world had been waiting for.
In reply to the message forwarded to that government by the Secretary of State on August 11th, I deem this reply a full acceptance of the Potsdam Declaration, which specifies the unconditional surrender of Japan. In the reply, there is no qualification.
When the news of surrender arrived, a surge of relief swept across the American forces who'd been battling against Japan for almost 4 years. The bloodshed was finally at an end, and the Pacific War was over. On August 30th, US troops of the 6th Marine Division landed on a beach south of Tokyo, marking the beginning of America's occupation of Japan. And as US command was firmly established, the stars and stripes were triumphantly raised over the Japanese homeland. Later that same day, the commander of US forces in the Southwest Pacific Theater, General Douglas MacArthur, flew into Atsugi Airfield in Tokyo and prepared to take control over the conquered empire. On the morning of September 2nd, the Japanese delegation boarded the US battleship Missouri in Tokyo Bay to make the unconditional surrender official. MacArthur, who was to take on the role of new Supreme Commander of Allied forces in Japan, directed the ceremony, which marked the end of the Pacific conflict, and his speech to the onlookers reflected the hopes of millions of people around the world. Finally, peace would be restored.
It is my earnest hope, and indeed the hope of all mankind,